Okay, we're going to start a directed exercise, but I'm going to do a side recording here because Chris asked about doing searches, and I wanted to show him how you would end up doing a search in a big system where it's not just you in it. And for this example, I'm going to search for R5509 COL, and I hit the little magnifying glass and it did a search down here. And I'm going, well, if it wasn't for the fact that I have it right here in the title, I wouldn't know what project it was in. So here's what I would do for that. I would add it to my default project. And you'll notice the difference here that it's grayed out, but it says it has a check mark. So it means some other project has the token. And so I am going to, I can determine where it is by highlighting the object and looking at news and status. And I will see here that it exists. The project that holds the token for this object is BB00001. And it doesn't, I don't have to be an owner of the project in order to get this information. And so then what I would actually do if I was in a big system, I would say, okay, I want to see what's in that project. And so then I would go back to my search tab again and change Object Librarian into OMW projects. I would tab down and then I would look for that BB00001. I would find it. Now this would find any project, even if I wasn't the owner. And I could load it into my default project so that I could look at it. And I did that with that right or that left arrow. And now it's in my demo project. And then I can go and look at the objects and the owners in that. And then what I would do is accept that my login is demo, so I can't really add myself. I would then highlight the owners. I would go over to search here again, and I would bring up owners. And then I don't really want to do alpha name search type because I know what my own login is. So I'm going to highlight user ID and put in demo. And there's my demo. And then with owners highlighted, I can load it in as an owner. And I'm going to see if I can add myself as a different role here. I'm going to add myself as the originator and say, okay. And there, I've added my own user ID. Now, normally I would first try adding myself as a PVC administrator, because that seems to be the most powerful one. And if it won't let me, then I would add myself as a developer. And then if that didn't work, I'd probably add myself as an originator and then go to CNC people and ask them to change me to either developer or PVC administrator. So that's how I would go and add myself when I'm looking for a specific object and want to start working on it. Okay. So then with this project being here and me added as one of the owners, I could hit find and then it would show up down here. But since it's already there, I can't show you that happening. You just have to take my word for it. So, any questions on that?
Not at the moment.
All right. Okay, so back to my question. Do you guys have a project with R5601 GRP in it? If not, we're going to go through it as a directed exercise, and then I'm going to immediately go to it as a directed exercise for modifying a group.
I can't find it.
Yeah, I don't see that object either.
Okay. So the first thing I want you guys to do is I want you to create a report. Excuse me, create a project and name it whatever makes sense. Name the project whatever makes sense to you with the title of group section. Or you could say group section R56. I'm gonna actually change that so that I'm consistent. I said for the other one, DE for R56 01 GRP. And I used enhancement, so 02, 11, and then this should be 56 since I know the report's going to be named 56 and E0220 and say okay. And then if I refresh it with a new find, you can see the project. Let me know when that's done. Okay, so now we're going to create the object. So with the proper project highlighted, I'm going to add a report, a batch application, and say okay. And we are going to call it R5601 GRP. The description is going to be address, book, records. Product code is going to be 56 this time. I'm going to make sure it says update report, and then I'm going to hit OK. And just say OK when you guys have hit the OK button.
Okay.
I'm there.
All right. Now, let's go into design mode. And we're going to create a page header and a group section using the report design director. Okay, so page header is selected, so I'm going to leave that selected. And I'm going to highlight group section here. So create a page header and group section using the report design director. So I'm going to say next. And then I'm going to choose the option to, automatically add. Populate the page header. And I'm going to say next. And then I'm going to find the business view myself and select next. And what we're going to bring up is V0101B. Bravo. And I'm going to select that. Okay, so the things we're going to add are the alpha name, the address number, address line 1, address line 1. There's address line 1. Oh, shoot. Okay, I'm missing a few things. Okay, I need search type. I need city, which is CTY1. I need state. I need postal code. I need phone number prefix. And I need phone number. Okay. And also I need them in a certain order. Let's see, I need them alpha name, address number, search type is third. So I need to add search. Oh, search type is right here. So search type needs to be third. And then address, city, state, zip, and then prefix and phone number. Okay. So let me
What
know.
page are you on?
What's that?
What page of the directed exercises are you on?
I was actually looking at the example on page 73. So I had scrolled down to put them in this order. Do you have the, so Chris, do you also have the exercise thing open?
I do. I'm on page 71 and I was following along with you from.
Okay, so
there.
I just wanted to, the reason, as long as you can see it in front of you,
Mhm.
what I did was I just went from the top left and then I ordered them alpha name, address number, search type, address line, city, state, postal code, prefix, and phone number. So I went left to right on each row. Okay. Now I can tell you right now that our instructions next is to enter a 3 in the numbers column field here. And so what that's going to do is it's going to do the first row correct, but then the second row is going to consist of address line, city, and state, and then zip will be the first column in the third row. So it's there's they designed it this way so that we have to do a little manual placement, but that's okay. Okay. So we're gonna, number of columns is 3, and we're gonna say next. And then for sequencing, we want to sequence by alpha and address number. And normally the alpha name would be enough, but there could be 2 John Does in there. And so you would need to have an order for them to sort them. So you knew which one was which. Since there could be duplicate names, we have to add address number, but normally that would just be enough. Okay, we're going to hit next, and it says do not, well, there's our sort properties. And for data selection, it says do not specify any data selection at this time. We're going to go next. And yes, we're going to create a version. What have we been calling it in the past? I am going to go back to OMW real quick. We've just been calling it ver 0001. Okay. So go back into design. I'm going to say ver 0001 and finish. Okay, so once the report design director is complete, how can you change the layout of the group section to match your report example? Just throw out some ideas.
Page break.
In changing the layout,
Oh, to make it look
really
like
where
these.
these are positioned, to make
Me.
it look like the sample report on 73.
Yeah, I mean, it's not exactly loading very well. I can't read any of the text, so I don't know what anything is.
How do you have it opened up?
I've got it on my tablet on what this is called.
Can you zoom it or?
I'm trying, it won't work.
Okay.
It's on Word.
Oh, then
Um,
hopefully down in the lower right corner, there might be a zoom bar. So. Anyway, Chris, you have an answer how you can, what's a good way to change the layout?
Yeah, so you can click in between the name such as city and where it has the variables so that it's all a black bar. And then you can move it about wherever you want on the
So drag and
layout
drop.
of the page. Yeah. And in this instance, it would just be matching it up with the example.
Yeah, I was gonna say I can see it now, so we're gonna need to delete state and then move phone number.
Um, actually, let me see if I can show you something. Shoot. Oh, well, okay. Basically it's drag and drop. So I was not paying attention. And so it populated the order in which I put the variables in. They put it on the left, high, middle, low, and then in the center, high, little, low, middle, low, and then to the right. So we have a lot of movement to do. So I'm going to drag this all around. Now notice that when I grab the first one, I could grab both the label and the value together, but this one I didn't grab in between, and I only dragged the label first and had to go grab the value. So there's a way to drag them together without moving. So I'm going to go back to my example, and it's alpha name, then address number, and then search. Search type. And then it's address line 1. And then it's city. I'm going to move this one out of it. Out of the way and put, come on. Put state in, and then the last thing is postal code.
How do you select stuff without it moving?
I
As
don't.
soon as I click on anything, it moves.
Yes, watch this. I was
Why?
selecting that. Do you see it?
Yes, why?
Well, we have, if you go to view and user options, it will I thought it was in here. Hold on, let me lay out.
So what is the purpose of moving it just when you click on it?
Okay. Well, so in layout, let's go to layout real quick. And under grid alignment. Okay. We have they default a grid. See these dots in here? That is 8 by 8 pixels, basically. And under options, we have display grid and snap to grid. Okay. Now, for the most part, what's happening is when the computer, the director, puts these values in for us, it doesn't know anything about a grid and puts it where the computer tells it to. But that may not be at a multiple of 8. So if I go to, if you watch, I'm going to lower this and notice how the shadow line jumps down 8 pixels at a time. And that's snapping to grid. Okay. If I were, I think I can go to, well, I can't do it in report design, but I can do it in another, in application design. I can actually increase the size of this and see the pixels, number of pixels or inches that the space is taking up. But so I basically have to get these to all align manually if I don't use the special tool that's set aside for that. And we'll talk about that in a minute. Oh, prefix goes first, right? Yes. So let me know when you've got it looking something like this. It's not it doesn't have to be exact, and it just, I'm more concerned that the order of the data is this, nothing more that the layout lays out good. I would like to see it in 3 distinct rows. And once you've done that, I want you to save.
I accidentally didn't save my work, so I'm re-adding my fields and stuff. I'll be right.
Okay.
I'll catch up. Doo-doo.
My layout is set.
Okay. So so let's hit the save button. And then we're going to go into layout and grid alignment. And let's turn the display grid off and say, okay. And then move the fields around. So it makes it a little harder. You can see that the shadow boxes still jump over to the to snap to the grid, even though you can't see the grid. Do you see that? And one of the nice things, that this is just with the grid off, but also keep in mind that you can circle, or you can encompass multiple fields by holding your mouse key down and completely encompassing an object. Now, in this case, notice that the search type, label, and value have a box around it. Postal code, label, and value have a box around it, but only the state value and not the state label have a box around it. So if I were to move these, the label doesn't come with it.
It's expanding.
Well, it's essentially the same as if I take this value and just move this up here, you can see by the corners of this square that this is the postal code. These two are associated with each other. It kind of gives you a hint that they're there, and you can see the corners of that square. So you know that this value is associated with that label. Okay. Now, what that allows you to do, it allows you to, if I want to separate these rows out, I can separate each row out without having to worry about them getting out of alignment. And now they're equally spaced. I missed zip code, didn't I? Oh no, I have postal code here. I'm sorry. I messed up. Doesn't look right. Now that I've moved everything around, I am not going to hit the save button. I am just going to go File, Exit. It'll ask me to save. I'm going to say no. And then I'm going to go back into this. And it's going to leave me where I last saved it. Now I still have to go back in and turn the display grid on. But now I'm going to turn off the snap to grid and say OK. Just to illustrate, I can move these around, but now notice they don't jump like they did before. And I can move them 1 pixel at a time. That becomes very tedious. And I used to try and do it that way, but it turned out to be a fruitless exercise. And so I ended up just leaving snap to grid on at 8, and that got me close enough. Did you see how those jumped a little bit? So now, let me also talk about this. Suppose come on, don't go. Now I'm going to move this stuff out of the way. You can follow along on this if you want to, but but I just want you to get these concepts down. It's not going to be that important that you're able to do them right away. I am going to highlight the 3 labels here. And I go, I want them all to be about where address line 1 is. Let's see. I want them, actually, I want them to be aligned with alpha name. What am I missing here? I'm doing something wrong. I want to align these. So I highlight them all and lay out and align. And I can align them to the left edges, the centers, the right edges are no change. I'm going to say I want them to all be centered correctly. I can say, okay, what happened? For some reason, I lost those. So now I have to figure out where they are. So I'm going to go into view, tree view. Grab, pull up my fields. Let's see. Alpha name is where? Sometimes the computer does this. I haven't seen it do it in a long time. All right, well, what I have to do then is I have to exit without saving. And then go back in. I'm going to try it one more time with these middle fields to show that I can align the three highlighted ones, and they're going to align to the thicker black box. So I'm going to go into layout, align, and I'm going to go left edges, and they all align. So I'm afraid to go any further on this because I don't want you guys messing up your system, because it doesn't look like the align is working that great in the demo junior version. So we're not going to continue with that. So let's go ahead and save it at this point. And then file, exit. Let's exit out. And then go to version list. And we're going to run it. I don't know how many pages this is going to give me, but I'll say okay. Oh, interesting. I just realized something. The problem with the preview, at least on my system, appears to be because it doesn't know the driver, the appropriate application to display this with. So if I go preview and run preview, is it going to do it this time? No, it comes out blank, but it does drop it in here. I'm going to hit F5. And I just created a new preview. So I can go look at that. And notice that it's 27 pages where the original report is 39. Now, can you guys run preview?
I'm looking at it right now. I don't know how you opened up the file, but no, it just gives me a blank screen.
Okay, so I go over to to File Explorer and go to Print Queue. And I refresh so that the newest file is on top, and mine is called Preview.
Ben, I confirmed I do have the same thing.
Okay,
What's print?
so under local disk,
Okay.
good. So we can talk about that a little more. I'm going to go back into my design. And I'm going to go to user options. I think it's under user options. Okay, so this preview, prompt before running preview, rows to preview, I was originally set at 30 for me. I don't know how many it was set for you. But I am going to change it to 30 and then do a preview.
Mine's set to 30.
Is it? So you probably should have gotten about 1 page of data in
Yep.
your preview. And Chris, you too?
I'm checking now.
Okay. So the reason they do that is because you only need usually only need a few rows to know if your report is getting close to what you want it to look like. And seeing 30 rows, you don't need to see the exhaustive data that may be there. So the preview will just show you that to give you an idea that yes, the layout's good, or no, the layout's not. Okay, so is everyone good with this?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna save and exit for a second. And under OMW, we're gonna go ahead and say cancel and go back to the main screen. And then just because we know I'm gonna have you change things, I want you to be able to recover this version of the layout. So we're gonna highlight the report and then we're gonna hit save. And we're gonna say yes to use the zip file. And then it's going to, well, it's going to put it in, what is that? Demo spec directory. That's good enough for now. So I'm going to click open, even though it's not really going to open it. It's just going to write the PAR file. And if I open up a new file explorer and start at local disk C, E90 and demo and spec file, if I set to look at the most recent up top, there's my UBE PAR file and the date it was created. So if I was really, really worried about saving this, I would create a quick folder and then put it in the folder, because this name is a unique name. And if I go to save the par file again, it would just overwrite this one. Okay. And because it only allows me to save one version of it at a time. And the way to get around that is to put the different versions in different named folders. Okay, that was just a side note. So let's go back into group design. And now we're going to do a directed exercise for modifying a group section. So the business, and this is, what is it? Page 88 of the exercise Word document. You would like to clean up your group report template and make it easier to read. You decide to change the layout of the section. You want this is a this is a modification of a different group report. So I can't do it to this one. Okay, so I'm just going to do some ad hoc changes to this. Let me look at my report real quick.
You know, starting on page 93, they've got directed exercise modifying a group section.
Do they?
Yep.
Is it this one?
R5541 GRP.
Yeah, no, that's, so you're saying on page 90.
3. Yeah, it's like a different exercise.
Yeah, it's in items. So it's R5541. So that means it's an item based. The 41 tells me it's items. So anyway, we can still do this. So I'm looking at this and it's like, it's not clear where one set of data transitions to the next. So we kind of want to fix that. I'm looking at this other stuff here. Okay, so
You got more space between your address, your bottom line, and your top 2 lines.
that's true. So, but we're going to do more than just that. I want to
Or the other way around.
I want to recognize it a little easier than that. So I'm gonna go back into design here. And so the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna change the label here to just say name. So I'm gonna override the name. I'm gonna put a name with a colon. Address number is fine. search type. I'm going to actually move this back a little bit. And I'm going to right mouse click on the X's of search type. Oh, don't do it that way. Okay, I'm going to highlight the X's of search type and go up to edit, click on edit, and then go down to associate description. And then I'm going to have to move my mouse back down here. Why? There we go. And I'm going to put associated description for search type to the right. Then I am going to take the address line and indent it just a little bit. I'm going to highlight the label to just say address.
Call from Christian Britain.
And then I am going to make this a better looking address by, I'm going to click on city, and then I'm going to right mouse click and hit disconnect. And then I'm going to take it, and with city highlighted with a box around it, I'm going to hit the delete button. And I'm going to move city over here, and I'm going to add a comma, a constant comma. So I'm going to click on constant up here. I'm going to drag it down here. I'm going to then double click it and change it by just typing in the comma. And it's going to make a very small box here. But I know there's a comma in it. And I'm going to move that comma to right in between the address line 1 and the city. And then I'm going to do the same thing to state. I'm going to right mouse click state and hit disconnect, and then delete the state and move that over. And then the same thing for postal code, disconnect, delete, and move that over. And then for the phone number, I'm going to indent this. I'm going to highlight prefix and just say phone. Hashtag. And then I am going to, I'm going to say enter. There's the phone. And I'm going to disconnect the number from it. And I'm going to make it look like an area code. So I am going to grab a constant, change it to a left parenthesis, and then I'm going to grab another constant, change it to a right parenthesis, and then I'm going to disconnect phone number and delete it and move the phone number value over. And then I'm going to save. And I'm going to jump out to my OMW and go to versions and run it. And that's kind of better. It's better than it was anyway. I'm going to go back in design. And I am going to add one more thing, a big long constant. Down here at the bottom that happens to be a shift dash line. I'm gonna just keep holding it down for a little bit and say, okay, we'll see how long that is. Not quite long enough. So I'm gonna add some longer. Oh, that's too long. Now I need to delete some of it. By hitting the backspace key. Not quite enough. Oh, see, I hate doing that. I'm going to cancel. Because it highlights the whole thing, you got to be careful not to delete the whole thing all at once. All right, so I'm going to look and see what that, I'm going to save. Go to,
Can I make one more suggestion?
sure.
Make it look better, which would be, let's change the prefix or number from displaying 6 digits and justified left to 3 digits and justified center.
That would certainly make the report better looking. The problem I would have with doing that outright would be because the data allows for 6 characters. Let me make sure. Oops. Why am I doing this on my other computer? Okay. That was AR1. And I'm going into data dictionary, and data dictionary says it's totally legitimate to put 6 characters in there. Okay. And if you know that your company will only put the 3 characters in there, then I'd say it's totally fine to do that. I'm going to open up Universal Table Browser, UTB, in the FastPath and hit enter. And I'm going to go look at the phone numbers, and I believe it's F0115. Yes, that's phone numbers. And AR1 is this field right here.
Okay.
So it looked, oh, let's see. So it looks like the data, oh, there's somewhere the numbers are messed up. And so it's a 49. And so we will have to deal with this all the time. You have to be very careful about that. And what you have to do is like I'm working on some table conversions with Cleve Lancaster, and Cleve Lancaster is the business analyst. And he has to get all the users to agree that they will only put the area code in there. Because what they were doing was they would put a country code in there as well. And then these numbers became messed up. It just looked funny. And so me putting in the parentheses and stuff wouldn't apply in that client's case. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So if I look farther through here, like here's, oh, that's not the phone number. So for right now, since this is just a modification exercise, we're going to just not worry about the phone number right now. If it's messed up, then they'll have to do some extra research to go find what they actually have to input in their phone to reach them. So, let's see, 747. Okay.
Coming out of the sky, I want you bring me into Memphis on a midnight ride. Sorry, I thought we were singing.
No, okay. All right, so we're gonna do one more thing. I'm gonna show you the value of business functions. Yes, let's try it. We're probably going to go past 8. But when you find a business function is a snippet of code where there's standard data format being sent in. It knows how to massage all the different options and give you something very consistent going out. So I am going to change this address here to something a little different. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to open this section. Can I? There we go. I'm going to make the section bigger, and I'm going to take this dashed line and move it way down here. And then I'm going to bring up the data dictionary browser. And I am going to under the alias QBE, I'm going to type in ADD asterisk. And I'm going to add ADD1 through ADD6. Or no, yeah, 80, we'll do ADD6. So I'm going to click on this, and then I'm going to hold my finger down, drag and drop. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. I think that's enough. I probably end up deleting 2 of those. And I'm going to close my data dictionary browser. Let me know when you guys have that much.
Yeah, got it.
Yeah.
Okay, so I close my window, and then I'm going to right mouse click and go into event rules. Okay. I'm going to go down to the do section. And as a reminder, the do section means data has been retrieved. Now, what would you like to do with the retrieved data? I'm going to put a blank column in there. And then I'm going to call a business function by clicking on the F of B. And it's going to load up a business function search screen. Okay. Now I am going to, under member description, type in asterisk MAILING mailing asterisk. Because I don't remember, and I'm going to click find. And it's this mailing address, I think, yeah. Get mailing address. So it's this B010021. Let me know when you're there.
I lost track of where we're at.
Okay, you need to click on this business function here. Where are you in the do section?
Not yet.
Okay,
I forget how to get. Oh yeah. And this is for the address book, right?
yes.
Okay. Yeah, I'm there.
Okay, are you at this business function?
Yep.
Okay, so you're going to click select. Chris, are you there?
Yep.
Okay. So select. It's going to bring up all this.
Sorry, mine's lagging out.
That's fine. So what we're going to do is sometimes they have business function notes. You can click down here and it says purpose is to retrieve the address book mailing information. And it gives you mailing name and addresses. Oh, it gives you up to 7 addresses. And A and 8 is what's input is required. The mailing, the rest is IO, and it's not required. So let me just give you, I'm going to close this by hitting the X box to the right here. We can open up 1,000 times, but I can pass in the address number, and the address number is going to be any of these business view columns. So I'm going to double, I changed it so that it works as an input to address number. And then I'm going to double click on address number up here, and it's going to populate right here. So once you've done that, tell me okay.
Well, I got stuck, so I don't know how to get there. So you kept going.
Steve, when
Yeah,
you get stuck, you need to tell me instead of
I
just.
did. I said I'm not there, and you kept going.
And then you said, okay.
No, I said it's frozen. Whatever. I've got member description in his address, and I don't know which one to click on.
So where are you?
I'm selecting the business function.
Okay, so you have mailing address, address format highlighted.
No, I don't see that. That's what I'm just trying to figure out.
Okay, what do you
So-
have up in the QBE?
For member description, address.
Okay, please type in asterisk, mailing asterisk.
Mailing. There you go. That's where I screwed up.
And then when you see the 21, highlight it and hit select.
Where am I typing in mailing at?
Above member description, the QB,
I guess I don't know how to spell mailing then.
did you put an asterisk in front and behind it?
I did. I didn't capitalize it though. Is that gonna make a difference?
Yes.
There we go.
And then hit select.
001. Okay. I did it.
Sorry, okay. So now here, find address number, which is a little more than halfway down. And click
Mhm.
on, so actually, let's do this.
Until it's an input.
I'm gonna click on the do not sign. This is the direction indicator. Okay, if I click on it once, it says, I'm gonna bring stuff in and pass it out. If I click on it again, it's only input. I click on it again, it's only output. And I click on it again, there, it's not passing any parameters. So we want to click twice for input.
Mhm.
And then you're going to load this address number FO101 A and 8 up here into that, either by double clicking it
Mhm.
or highlighting it, highlighting the parameter and hitting the greater than sign. And once you're there.
Yep.
Okay. Now, for address line 1, we're going to make the arrow point to the left. In fact, we're going to do it for 1 through 6. And then we're going to map a value to those. And that value that we're going to map, if we go all the way down to the report variables, we'll see address line. When we highlight address line 1, we're going to map in, double click address line 1. Highlight 2, map in RV address line 2. And do that for 1 through 6.
Okay.
All right. So, Chris, do you have this the way mine looks?
Yep.
Okay, hit OK. And so that's what the business function looks like, and it's going to run it. We're going to hit the green checkbox, check mark, excuse me. And we're going to hit save, and we're going to run this to see what it looks like now. So I'm going to go back out to Object Management Workbench. I've got the work with batch versions already up, so I'm just going to double click and run it, submit. Okay. I'm going to go grab the output. Actually, you guys could also do preview if you want. I'm just so far away from doing that, it's no longer a habit for me. So go to print queue. And see how that makes the. See, I like that address a lot better.
Mine isn't showing anything like that.
It's not.
No, all my fields are blank. They just say address 1 through 6.
Okay, so let's go back into design. Where is my design? Now you have address book highlighted, correct? The section.
Yeah.
I'm going to go to event rules and do section.
Yeah.
Is this what yours looks like?
Yeah.
Okay, double click on this. Tell me what's in this field here.
Figured it out.
Okay.
I was doing previous report variable rather
Yes.
than report variable.
Yes, that is a very common, and feel free, we rely on each other as developers to eliminate a lot of the easy mistakes. And that is an easy mistake. So was the second, when you go back to your report, was the second record blanked as well?
What record? What do you mean?
Well, if I go back to here and go down to the second record, this one, if PC was the only thing I had mistaken, this address would be down here. And this address here would be on the next record. So I would see a juxtaposition of the addresses all down one.
No, it's not showing anything in any fields.
Huh.
But now that I did it correctly, it's showing it.
Okay, good. That's close enough for me then. And Chris, you got that to work?
Yep.
Okay. So one of the things that I do when I find a business function that I really like, I'll take a bunch of screen captures, and it's nice that in here they give us the explanations of the logic and all, tells me the tables that it's working with and all that. And I try and document as many of the common business functions that I use over and over again. So let me talk about this. This is a real nice, because it's demo, I'm sure it's in there. A lot of clients don't have this information, the explanations of the business functions in there. And so I have to write them up by myself. Okay. Now this is the business function notes, and it'll usually tell you the purpose, the parameters, if there's any related tables or called functions, any error messages, and special logic notes. And that's all a bonus. In addition to the business function notes, you'll get structure notes. There may be structure notes. Now the structure is a data structure. And that data structure is the grouping of all of these parameters here for options of what you can get output when using the business function. And if I click on data structure, in this case, it tells me the structure name, but it doesn't give me anything in the notes. So no good luck there. But if I highlight one of these parameters and go to parameter notes, a lot of these have a little information about them. And this is just address line 1, so it's a very common parameter. And it will tell me about it once it eventually comes up. There we go. Oh, so it tells me the data structure it's in and the data item that parameter is. So that's ADD1. So that's helpful. It doesn't give me any actual notes in this case. I'm going to look at zip code, see what it says. Yeah. So if you expand this window out, you can always see the data item that's being used and grab that exact data item if you want to use the same thing that you've seen used previously. I'm going to grab another function here. I'm not going to use it. I'm just bringing it up for descriptive purposes. Get UDC asterisk find Sorry, I shouldn't have put a space between them. Let's see. And this one, which is obsolete, is actually one that I wrote. Well, I helped write. And it's the only one I like. See if it has business function notes. Yes, so it tells you all the error values that could be returned and special cases of what's being returned in this. This actually goes out to the user-defined code table and returns values. So you can read about that. Structure notes, no structure notes. And I'm going to select the special handling code. Yeah. So gives me the alias anyway. So yeah, that's one of the business functions that I wrote. And I'm proud of. I still use it because I can't get this get UDC to work 100% of the time, where I can get mine to work 100% of the time. So I'm kind of partial to it. All right, so now we have mailing address format. We've learned how to use a business function. I'm going to go ahead and save and exit because I think we've made, let me see. Yeah, we've done all the directed modifications plus one. And so I'm going to save and exit unless there's any questions first.
Not this time.
Okay. All right, so file and exit. I'm going to close up. Let me go ahead and